Here with us now from New York, former British Prime Minister, official envoy of Middle East Quartet, and founder of the African Governance Initiative, Tony Blair. And congratulations on being one of the honorees at last night's second annual Save the Children Illumination Gala.
Thank you.
It's good to have you on board this morning.
It really is.
Hi, Joe.
It really is. We obviously, like most of the civilized world, very discouraged by events in Israel. The cycle of violence just continues. What is the short-term and long-term ramification of that synagogue attack?
Short term is going to be very, very difficult indeed. It was an horrific attack, absolutely wicked and despicable thing to do when people were peacefully worshipping. And there's obviously then action taken by the Israeli government. So tensions are really, really high at the moment. I think the first thing we have to do is to try to calm the situation, to make sure there aren't provocative actions or statements. And then we need to get back to a political track that's credible and changes on the ground that give people some hope. But right now, it's a very, very tough situation indeed.
The Palestinian Authority obviously condemned the attack, but we had the Israeli ambassador to the United States saying that he went on to then condemn Israeli aggression. Do we need to put more pressure on the Palestinian Authority and maybe find a way forward with them and separating them from Hamas?
Well, they're also under enormous pressure from their own population. I mean, things have been very difficult in Jerusalem and the West Bank and, of course, in Gaza as well. So I think right now the most important thing is just to try and create some calm and some stability. But we will require to get back at some point to a proper political initiative, a framework that allows people to start discussing the basic issues in the conflict. And then you've got to get some changes on the ground. I mean, there are still many, many homeless people in Gaza. There's still huge problems on the West Bank. And where there's a vacuum, then into the vacuum come these acts of violence, some of which are just literally random acts of violence, and which make it very, very difficult, by the way, for the authorities to control or contain the situation. So, look, we've been through this cycle many times before, but the only thing that works is to calm it and then get back on the front foot.
Carol Lee, Wall Street Journal, has a question. Carol.
Yeah, thank you. I'm curious what role you think the White House has in all of this right now at this particular moment, and whether the Iran talks deadline on Monday, if at all, has any bearing on being able to maintain, tamp down the violence and maintain calm there.
I think even though obviously Iran is a very crucial issue for Israel and for the whole of the region, I think people are aware that in the immediate term, at least, that's a separate question. It's being handled through the negotiation process. We have to wait and see whether they're able to reach an agreement or not. I think the thing that is most important right now, and I know the White House and John Kerry have been very active on this, is to try and draw the tension out of the situation so that you can at least create a reasonable enough atmosphere of calm where you then start talking about how you might put a political framework back together. Right now, you know, the credibility of the political process is very low, and frankly, until it calms, there's not a lot anyone can do.
Ellen? Yeah, Mr. Prime Minister, there is a growing feeling among Israeli politicians, captured in a New Yorker piece recently, that the two-state solution is dead. It just is not going to work. What are the implications of that?
The implications of that, in my view, are very bad indeed. If you move away from a two-state solution, basically two states for two peoples, a Jewish state for the Jewish people in Israel and a Palestinian state for the Palestinians, if you go away from that and try just thinking for a moment about a one-state solution, you've just seen on the map there, if you paint a bigger picture of the map, you know, you see how small the territory is of Israel and the Palestinian territories in the whole of the Middle East. This is a small strip of land. You try putting people in a situation of conflict and force them together in one binational state, I really think you'd have an immense problem on your hands. The two-state solution is still possible. It's not that it can't be done. But it requires a situation on the ground which starts to help people prepare for peace and for a two-state solution. At the moment, it's all the other way. You've had Gaza, you've had the tension in Jerusalem, the stalling of the economy on the West Bank. So we've got our work cut out.
All right, Tony Blair, thank you very much, and congratulations once again being recognized by Save the Children for your work in combating poverty and everything that you do. Thank you. Still ahead, Governor Andrew Cuomo joins us from upstate New York, where the Buffalo area suburbs have been hit with nearly 6 feet of snow, and more is on the way. Morning Joe will be right back.